Deputy Minister, Chief Justice, and the whole panel of judges, officials, parents, teachers, caregivers, learners, everybody who's here, we greet you this morning and thank you for taking the time on such a beautiful Sunday morning. Some of us would have been in bed still, but it's important that we're here. At this stage, then, I would like to request the Commissioner, Advocate Andre Gom, to render a welcome and opening address.
Thank you very much and good morning to everyone. Greetings to our presiding judge, Judge Jody Kulapan, Judge of the Constitutional Court, judges of the High Court, Deputy Minister John Jeffrey, the Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Dr. Muhaule, the Deputy Minister of Basic Education, cannot be here today, but she's also been very involved in this whole process, and we thank her for that. Professor Frans Viljoen, the Director of the Center for Human Rights, University of Pretoria, Ms. Chantal Kisoon, the CEO at the South African Human Rights Commission. Good morning also to officials from the South African Human Rights Commission, the Department of Basic Education, and the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, all partners in this important Moot Court project. And good morning to all participants, particularly the learners and the teachers, and Happy Teachers Month to all our teachers. Today marks the end of the 2022 National Schools Moot Court program and the beginning of a life of learning for the many participants of this competition. Although my role is to welcome all of you to the Constitutional Court, it would be inappropriate not to mention the importance of this competition and that of every participant together with the community they represent. The Schools Moot Court program is a very pivotal national event that engages schools, learners, parents, teachers, and the legal fraternity as represented here today. The program is an integral part of conscientizing young people to human rights, the South African Constitution, and the role of the law in preventing violations of human rights. Over the years, the program had rightfully focused on constitutional and human rights education. However, in recent years, the shift has been to sow the seeds of justice, freedom, and a sense of right. This year's problem statement afforded the participants the opportunity to see themselves through a learner who had been suspended and privacy allegedly violated. However, the problem statement has also afforded learners to see themselves through the eyes of a school that needed to maintain high academic performance and maintain some level of discipline. It is through this program that learners are able to weigh the values espoused by the Constitution and interact with other lawyers, all in the spirit of teaching and learning. All this happens under the watchful eyes of skillful teachers and lawyers who assist from the essay writing levels up until the provincial and final rounds, the final round we have here today. And we are thankful to every individual and organization that have assisted the learners to reach this moment today. The program intentionally draws participants from all walks of life, including from the most rural village in Vosburg in the Northern Cape to the most modern school in Sandton in Gauteng. There is only one constitution and one Bill of Rights under which we all are bound and we all enjoy the protections afforded by it. This is important as this Moot Court program speaks to how our Constitution seeks to protect everyone who lives in South Africa, particularly the marginalized and indigent. The legacy of this program will not only be how many students it has touched and assisted in making the right choices in terms of higher learning, or career choices, but it will also be how far and wide it reached to young South Africans. Its legacy will be how many young South Africans it has conscientized and sensitized about human rights and the protections afforded by the Constitution to their fellow learners and their communities. With these few words, I welcome you all and welcome the justices of the court to the final round of the 2022 National Schools Moot Court program and the beginning of many careers in law and human rights. May we all enjoy this day and undertake to live the preamble of the Constitution as we head back to our communities. Thank you very much.
A round of applause, please. We are going to be receiving a special address from our Honorable Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Mr. John Jeffrey, who is a staunch supporter for this program. Over to you, Deputy Minister.
Program Director, esteemed judges present, commissioners and officials from the South African Human Rights Commission, officials from various government departments and from the Centre for Human Rights at the University of Pretoria, and more importantly, the learners, their families, and their chaperones. This event is one which is particularly close to my heart, and one which I'm always honored to be able to attend. As you may know, the first annual National Schools Moot competition took place here at the Constitutional Court on Human Rights Day, the 21st of March, 2011. At that time, event teams from 4 schools in each of the 9 provinces were selected to participate in this groundbreaking event. Since then, the competition has gone from strength to strength and has produced some remarkable achievements. For 3 years, the winners of the competition here have gone on to the International Schools Moot and have won it, the last time being in 2020. The National Schools Moot program is a collaborative effort between a number of role players, and I think I can say on behalf of all of us that we're extremely proud of the program and what it has achieved over the many years. We believe that for South Africa to thrive as a constitutional democracy, it's fundamental that learners in all our schools know their constitutional rights. Human rights awareness is vital as it contributes to a society which is based on freedom, human dignity, and equality. One of the main aims of this program is to give learners the opportunity to explore various sections of the Bill of Rights and also to develop their own writing and oratory skills and talents. Schools and our young people are often catalysts for social change, and this program therefore becomes relevant in instilling and educating young people, and thus also broader society on constitutional values, human rights, and active citizenry. I'm particularly pleased that this final is currently being live streamed on various platforms. I'm sure there are many learners currently watching these proceedings, and that your participation here today will inspire them to also participate in this competition in future years. The 2020 National Schools Moot Court program began earlier this year with grade 10 and 11 learners writing an essay which delves into the scenario taking place at Denga High School. The school is experiencing a high number of unplanned pregnancies, which has resulted in female learners dropping out of school. Of course, if we look at real life here in South Africa, learners are indeed dropping out of school, not only due to teenage pregnancy, but also due to other factors. I want to share with you the findings recently released by Stats SA in June this year. And these findings show that last year, 2021, nearly 9% of 17-year-olds dropped out of school. Statistics South Africa's General Household Survey indicates that although most 18 and 19-year-olds were still attending secondary school, almost 3 out of 10 learners aged 18 and 4 out of 9 19-year-olds had dropped out of school. The most prominent reasons for non-attendance at school include illness and disability, that's 22%, poor academic performance, close behind at 21%, lack of money for fees at 19%. Reasons for dropping out of school differ by gender, especially for girls who have to stop attending school due to family commitments, that's 13%, while close to 5% of males, of boys, stopped attending because, quote, they had no interest in education. The school dropout rate is of particular concern because students who drop out of school prematurely experience a lack of access to higher education, fewer job opportunities, and lower wages than their peers who finish their schooling. School attendance is extremely important, and that is one of the reasons why the Department of Basic Education launched its new policy on the management and prevention of learner pregnancy in schools towards the end of last year. I won't say too much about the details of the policy, as I'm sure many of you will be referring to it in your oral argument shortly, but just to highlight that the policy affirms the right of a pregnant learner to remain in school during her pregnancy and to return as soon after giving birth as is appropriate for both the learner and her child. The school is also required to reasonably accommodate the learner to ensure that her right of education is not negatively affected. Pregnancy is but one of the factors which can have an impact on the constitutional rights of learners. Here we also think of bullying, both in person and online, and the impact that it has on learners in their daily lives, and how this infringes on their rights to human dignity and equality. We also know that, for example, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, and queer learners face serious challenges of discrimination and prejudice in schools and in their communities. I want to specifically mention 3 school learners who have tragically taken their own lives after allegedly being bullied for their sexual orientation. According to media reports, Lucanio Jongo, who was 14 from Stutterheim, and Tiro Moalusi, 15 from Soweto, both committed suicide after allegedly being bullied by teachers. Mpo Falitenjwa, who was 14 from Orange Farm, also took his own life after being bullied because of his sexuality. So we must ensure the safety and inclusion of all learners in our schools and ensure that their human rights are protected. To the learners here today, I've been following some of the clips on social media, and I'm extremely impressed with the quality and the high standard of what we've seen so far. I want to commend and congratulate those who've made it through the various provincial rounds, as well as those in the national finals, which commenced on Thursday. To the finalists that are here, best of luck, and we look forward to seeing your oratory skills and your understanding of both the Bill of Rights and human rights generally. To each and every learner who participated, congratulations on what you've already achieved in this competition. You yourselves, your schools, and your families can be extremely proud of you. I know that in a few years from now, some of you will be appearing before this court as legal practitioners. For those of you who plan to embark on studying law, there's a saying in legal circles that many candidate attorneys are taught, namely, and I quote, "If you can't convince them, confuse them." However, I can unfortunately assure you from personal experience that that doesn't work. So to the finalists, take note of that as well. I want to wish you all of the best for your school career and for your future studies. You've been given a talent. Harness that talent and use it towards the greater good of society and to help build a better world. And I'd just like to close with words from late President Mandela, who said, "A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. But when you add to that a literate tongue or pen, then you have something very special." Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deputy Minister.